Welcome to European Railway, the DVD magazine for the continental enthusiast. In this program, we travel to France to witness trains along the Doubs River Valley. Passenger and freight action from Switzerland. Class 111 electrics at work in central Germany. Polish freight train activity close to Wrocław. A visit to the busy port of Antwerpen. A look at the Austrian main line over the Brenner Pass. And finally, passenger and freight traffic to the south of Duisburg. We begin this program with a journey to France and the once busy cross-country route linking Dijon in the west to Mulhouse in the east. Most of our filming was undertaken just to the east of Besançon, in the valley of the River Doubs, where the line runs alongside the river and canal. We begin this feature to the west of Besançon, at the small town of Olten. Arriving at the station is the 1217 from Belfort to Dijon, powered at the rear by dual-voltage electric locomotive number 22249. Passing in the opposite direction are a pair of Z9500 electric units on a service for Besançon. Seen arriving from the east is the 1326 from Belfort to Dijon. The train is powered at the rear by 1975 vintage electric locomotive number BB25688. When we paid our visit on the 6th of April 2011, there were 6 of these locomotives diagrammed for passenger work along this line. We now move east of Besançon, close to the river, as this Z9500 unit heads west. Number 25688's next duty was to work the 1615 return service from Dijon to Belfort. This is the 1650 from Besançon to Belfort, headed by BB 25640. The locomotive entered service on the 3rd of March 1975 and is currently based at Strasbourg as part of the strategic locomotive fleet. There were plenty of small fish in the canal, as well as far too many flies and mosquitoes out of it. We now move 2 kilometers further east and to the small town of Deleuze. Entering the station is the 1738 from Belfort to Besançon, powered by dual-voltage electric locomotive number 22359. In the opposite direction is another local service on its way to Belfort.
Vous avez l'autorisation de filmer ?
Finally, we see the 1750 from Dijon to Belfort, arriving and powered by BB 24248. During our afternoon and early evening visit, we did not see a single freight train on this route, a far cry from days gone by when a whole string of trains would run to and from the marshalling yard at Dijon. The river valley here offers up some excellent photographic opportunities as the line hugs the valley sides, even though most trains seen now will be passenger services. In this section, we study traffic through the busy station at Aarau, which is situated in the northern part of the country on the main rail route linking Olten with Zurich. Traffic here is almost continuous, and so there is never a dull moment. Our visit was made on the evening of the 4th of February 2011. Approaching the station from the east is a pair of train sets powered by two Class BE44 railcars belonging to the transport group AAR, a brand name of local bus company BBA and the rail operator WSB. The two railcars seen here date from 1979. One is still in the older orange livery of the Weinental- und Surentalbahn. We saw 6 freight trains during our 60-minute stopover. Arriving with an eastbound service for Zurich is this pair of RE44s.
Sektoren B und D, zweite Klasse, Sektoren B, C und D. Interregio nach Olten, Bern, Gleis 5.
Non-stop intercity expresses were passing through about every 10 minutes or so. This is 460,088. There is an hourly S-Bahn service on route S3, which passes through Zurich before terminating here at Aarau. Trains are formed of Class 450 operated push-pull coaching stock. New Class 523 electric units are also seen here. One of just a handful of RE44 locomotives to still retain the orange and grey livery applied in the 1970s is number 11108. Here it heads a train of empty stock for Zurich. There wasn't much light left by the time this Class 561 arrived at the station with a service from Rotkreuz.
Vorsicht! Zugfahrt, Gleis 3.
Our final scene from Aarau is of this Class AE66 locomotive, about to pause in the station with an eastbound freight service bound for Zurich.
Gleis 3, Einfahrt des ICN nach Zürich Hauptbahnhof, Zürich Flughafen, Winterthur, St. Gallen, Abfahrt 18:30 Uhr. Erste Klasse, Sektoren A, B, C und D. Zweite Klasse, Sektoren A, B, C, D und E. Restaurant.
Central Germany is a good place to see the endangered Class 111 electrics at work on regional passenger services, mostly on the lines radiating from Nuremberg and on down to München. The Class 111s were a successor of the Class 110 express locomotives and were built between 1978 and 1984. As new trains are introduced, many of these locomotives find themselves redundant and are withdrawn from service, and so the fleet is becoming smaller as the months go by. Arriving at Eltersdorf on Sunday the 17th of April 2011 is 111017, heading the 0734 to Forchheim. This locomotive is unusual in that it carries an all-over advertising livery. Just to the south of the town, 111206 is seen in charge of the 0803 service from Hartmannshof to Bamberg. In the opposite direction we see a newer breed of locomotive, the Class 146, which have assisted in ousting some of the 111s on services around Nuremberg and other major cities in Germany. We now move south and to the town of Pleinfeld, where number 174 enters the station whilst in charge of the 0933 from Nuremberg to München. We now travel to Poland and to the industrial city of Wrocław. In the northeast suburbs of the city is a small local passenger station, which is situated close to the junction of a number of lines that allow freight traffic to bypass the city's main station. We paid a visit over 2 days on the 11th and 12th of April 2011. Bouncing almost uncontrollably is ET22 locomotive number 814 on a train of eastbound coal empties. Heading in the opposite direction is ET41 number 069 on a rake of PKP hopper wagons. Local passenger services were operated by a mixture of private and state-owned companies. Here we see one of Koleje Dolnośląske's Class 134 diesel train sets, forming a local service to Chebnica. coal traffic amounts to 3 or 4 trains each hour. These are normally headed by Class ET22 locomotives. (181.003) is one of 4 members of the class operated by the private rail company STK, which is based locally at Wrocław. Here it heads a container train bound for Gdansk. We spent just over 2 hours at this location, during which time we saw 3 passenger and around 5 freight trains every hour. Finally, we leave you with another ET22 electric, heading a westbound coal train. This one is in the new PKP cargo blue livery. Out of the 1,183 built for Polish railways, there are still around 880 of these locos left in traffic. Antwerpen is the busiest port in Belgium and generates nearly 60% of the country's rail freight traffic. In this section, we pay a visit to the main rail line that provides access into the giant marshalling yard situated in the northern half of the port. Our visit was made on Wednesday the 20th of April 2011, starting at around 11:30 in the morning. Apart from a couple of passenger services provided for railway staff, the line is freight only. 1307 and 1326 arrive from the east with a loaded train of rails. Six minutes later and 7702 is seen, with a trip freight from the southern part of the docks near Dwijndrecht. A lucky scene here as we catch 2 Class 62 diesels at work. Once common throughout the Belgian rail system, the few remaining examples now only work maintenance trains, such as this one seen here. Euro Class 66s are also a common sight here, such as number PB19, seen arriving on a container train. Older electrics are becoming rarer in these parts, as new Class 28 and Class 18 electrics force their withdrawal from service. This is a Class 23 and Class 26 pairing, led by 1957 built number 2375. "17 freight trains were seen in just 60 minutes during our late morning stopover. This Belgian Class 28 will power this freight train through to Germany and to the main marshalling yard at Gremberg, which is situated on the southern outskirts of Köln. An unusually clean 1326 heads away from the yard after bringing in a trainload of new rails. Class 77s are very common on this line, with over half of the trains seen powered by this type of locomotive. The Class 20 electrics are also found here, mainly operating container trains to and from the port of Zeebrugge. This one is about to stop and change direction on its way to the nearby locomotive depot, which is located in the center of the yard complex. We are now around 2 kilometers further south, just outside Antwerpen Noorderdocken station, as we see this type AM76 4-car multiple unit heading a train for Antwerpen Centraal. Coming off the docks line is Class 28 number 2817. This is where the freight line joins the main passenger route that comes down from Roosendaal in Holland. A good comparison here of the standard of cleanliness of locomotives owned by different countries. The first one belongs to the Luxembourg State Railways and is immaculate, whilst the second belongs to Belgian Railways and is in need of a good wash and scrub. This Class 27 is seen on a service from Essen. Our final scene is of one of the Class 28 electrics that have been loaned to the passenger sector in order to work international express trains between Amsterdam and Brussels, due to the poor reliability of the Class 11 locomotives that were previously employed on this work. We now travel to the Brenner Pass in Austria as we sample activity on the route between Innsbruck and the border with Italy at Brennero. Our location was high above the picturesque village of St. Jodoc, which lies next to one of the line's sweeping curves as it makes its way up and down the valley. We begin with two Class 185s operated by German traction provider Locomotion. The company has a whole range of electric locomotives currently on hire, including a further 4 Class 185s, the same as those seen here. This intermodal train from Italy is heading down the grade towards Innsbruck. This is the view looking west, as the main Autobahn number 13 from Innsbruck to Bolzano crosses the valley on a high, spectacular concrete bridge. Local services between Innsbruck and Brennero run every hour in each direction and call at all intermediate stations en route. Services are formed of new Class 4024 electric train sets, such as the one seen here. This is a triple voltage Class 1216 locomotive, based on the German Class 189 but using the classic Taurus body shell. It is seen working the 0833 from Bolzano to München, a journey which takes just over 4 hours. Looking up at the Olperer mountain range, we are about 1,300 meters above sea level. The hamlet of St. Jodoc belongs to 2 municipalities, the southern part to the village of Pfalz and the northern part to the municipality of Schmieren. Around 400 people live in the hamlet, which gets most of its income from skiers holidaying here over the winter months. Trainloads of lorries complete with their drivers are common on this line, with loads originating or terminating at the nearby border crossing at Brennero. To provide additional braking capacity, as well as extra power when going up the valley, all trains have a locomotive positioned at each end. Amidst the breathtaking scenery, 3 locomotives are seen on this southbound intermodal service. A brand new Class 189 and 185 pairing on the front, whilst on the rear, providing banking assistance, is 1964 vintage XDB Class 139, number 312. The traction provider, Locomotion, has 8 Class 139s for undertaking such duties. Heading up the valley to the summit at Brunero is train EC85, the 0931 service from München to Bologna. Intercity passenger trains such as this run at 2-hourly intervals in each direction. Locomotions 185665 is seen returning to Vorgel to await its next turn of duty. Finally, this was followed by a Class 1216, powering another Eurocity Express from Milano to München. In our final section, we travel to the industrial heartland of Germany and to the Ruhr region around the city of Duisburg. We are just a few kilometers to the south of the city at Hochfeld, which is the site of the main railway bridge which crosses the River Rhine. It is also next to a non-electrified line that runs down to a major steelworks situated at Buchholz. The current railway bridge is used by freight and regional passenger trains on the routes out to München-Gladbach and Aachen. Heading for Duisburg is this Class 423 electric unit on a local stopping service. The bridge, as we see it today, was rebuilt after being blown up by the Germans in 1945. After extensive rebuilding, it was open to rail traffic again on the 1st of October 1949. The bridge is twin-track and crosses the river by means of 2 spans, the first 126 meters long and the other 189 meters long. The original bridge was completed in 1873 and included 2 defensive towers, one on either side of the river. Here, a Swiss Class 482 electric disappears behind the only original tower that is left standing. Eisenbahn und Häfen operated Type G1206 diesel number 548 heads a train down to the Krupp Steelworks at Buchholz. RBH Logistics operate a fleet of 26 XDB Class 143 electric locomotives. This is number 105. Its old number being 143186. Eurocontinental Rail is a subsidiary of DB Schenker. The company operates several Class 77 or Euro Class 66 locomotives in this area. Now designated as Class 247, number 031 heads a northbound freight away from the steelworks at Buchholz. This line can be busy with between 2 and 3 trains each hour. Crossing the river bridge is RBH-operated G1206 diesel, number 806, on a train of empty coal hoppers. Around a third of freight trains seen in the area were operated by private companies. Heading towards the camera is Class 232 diesel number 592, seen on its way to pick up wagons at the Krupp Steelworks in Buchholz. Another private operator in the area is Niederrheinische Verkehrsbetriebe AG, which trips wagons to and from Oberhausen freight yard to local steelworks or larger manufacturing industries. They operate just a handful of locomotives, including 4 similar to this one, 2 XDB Class 216 diesels and a Class 145 electric used for the longer distance freight flows. The land between the river and the piles of earth seen at the bottom of the picture used to be where the train ferry landed prior to the opening of the main rail bridge in 1873. Steam locomotives used to back down to the water's edge and shunt wagons and coaches on and off the barges. The same happened on the other side of the river in the far distance. A good variety of locomotives can be seen in this area, either running to and from the Krupp Steelworks or over the main rail bridge. During our visit, there were close to 18 movements over the river each hour. The area in front of us is the river's floodplain, hence the need for the numerous brick-built arches provided as part of the main railway bridge. This is to allow free passage of water when the river floods. Our final scene shows one of Euro Cargo Rail's G2000 locomotives crossing the bridge with a westbound train of hopper wagons. As we leave the River Rhine, we hope that you have enjoyed watching this edition of European Railway.